Hi, macro photographer. Want to learn how to make creative fruit backlighting photography? For the best videos on creative fruit photography, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified when I upload a video on Thursdays. I've helped thousands of macro photographers be creative and tell their story. And now it's your turn. Okay, let's get you set up. One easy way to do this if you do not have a table is just get some sawhorses. That's what I have here. And you can use a variety of plexiglass, or you can see I just threw a beanbag. You'll see that later. Here's a regular piece of glass that I just used from a frame that I no longer needed, and I put some tape around it, the blue painter's tape, so I wouldn't cut my fingers. I'm now setting up my lights. I'll put down below what I use. Next, I wanted to share with you Matthew. During our workshop, he used 2 boxes and some glass, and then he had an LED light that he put under, and it worked really good. Now let's get the fruit ready. Anything that's translucent will work good. This is a pink grapefruit. It's awesome. Also, make sure your knife is really sharp if you don't have a slicer. I highly recommend, if you're going to do a lot of photographing with backlit fruit, that to purchase a slicer, because it'll make it so much easier for you to photograph. But as you can see, it looks so beautiful. Kiwis are another amazing fruit to use. They have some wonderful patterns, and they're easier to cut, to tell you the truth, so you can get the slices pretty good. Now, if you slice like I just did, some of them small or thin or cut kind of funky, it's okay, because you can actually layer them and it will look so interesting in your shoot. So don't worry if you can't get it perfect. For those of you that don't have fancy light, no worries. Look, I'm just using one of my lamps from my home. Just grab whatever you can, and then look, it works amazing. You can see the detail of all the cells in this grapefruit. We really need to level your lens and your camera to make this work, since we're getting up close, because we will have less in focus. I have levels on my tripod and on my head. Don't worry about the focusing rack. You don't need that. So today I'm using my 100mm with my 25 extension tube. It's super important. I have my lens perfectly level with the grapefruit, and it's all done by taking some prep time to get this going before you actually shoot. It'll make your life a lot easier. Okay, it's now time to evaluate. Look at your subject in detail. Look at the fruit and the cells and what excites you when you visualize with your eyes the fruit. Let me give you a tip. It doesn't have to be perfect, because look around the circles right here at the edges of the grapefruit. It gives it like a dark feel to it, a shadow effect, because the rind is different. Then play with the light before you push the shutter button. See what really excites you. Do you want more light, less light? See how I'm flipping it around, visualizing, really paying attention to the composition before I actually start pushing that shutter button. And once you find something that you truly love, then it's time to bring out the camera. Okay, with all the prep, let's do this. And let's start. You can see that the light right there. I just want to get it in focus first. And then I could actually even move this around to, say, not put it in the center maybe. Next, what I'll do is I'll grab my shutter release and lock my mirror in my camera so everything's nice and sharp. And then just have fun. You've already done all the prep work and everything's ready to go. Just start photographing, shoot, take a bunch of pictures, get what you love, just have some fun and enjoy the moment for sure. I do want to offer you another big tip, because once you get the shot, try this. I'd love for you to experiment and really go crazy, crazy. Take a flashlight and have some fun. Put it underneath and move it around and take some photographs. Put it on top and move it around and take some photographs. Just do things that are different and out of your comfort zone so you can express yourself. Okay, so now grab all your images and put them in your computer, whether it's Lightroom, On1, whatever software you have, because it's time for post-processing. Comment below and let me know, what would you like to shoot when it comes to fruit photography? Okay, so what I'd like to do with you is share with you what I do on these kinds of photographs. The first thing is clean up all of the mess in the fruit. So whether it is hot spots or very dark spots or just something funky leading my eyes away from the beautiful texture of my fruit subjects. So I clean up everything first and put that in a separate layer. Now when it comes to large areas to fix, I'll do those areas in separate layers. This way, if it doesn't work out, I can just toss them later. But when it comes to the white, very bright white areas that you probably will get, when it comes to oranges, lemons, limes, stuff like this, then I will actually color that in, because our eyes will go into the brightest areas of our frame in our picture. So I don't want anybody going there. But you don't want to just paint in color and have it flat, because as you can see right there, there's a variety of reds, oranges, and all different colors, browns. What I'll do is I'll add the color in, and then I will add more color to it by taking a point and picking a color and adding that in also. Here you can see I've selected the white areas so I don't bleed into the actual fruit. This makes it easier to play with later on in post-processing. I also go back and forth a lot, making the image small and then getting up to even 200, 250 pixels. And here I'm playing with grain because sometimes that will give it a little bit more dimension. I actually added in grain. This is just plain, that's all I'm suggesting, but the white around looks really bad. Our eyes still go to that, so I wanted you to pay attention to this when you're post-processing. What I ended up doing is pulling the colors around in Liquify to give it some dimension. Next, after I've cleaned everything up, if I really want to change up the colors and the textures, I will do that with separate layers. And the reason why I do this is if a client asks for a different color, I can easily do that because it is on a different layer. What I like to highly suggest is be careful when you use the sliders in Lightroom or another program, because what will happen is something like this that's translucent can easily be blown out with post-processing, so you have to be really careful. Now that you know how to make beautiful, creative fruit photography with your backlighting, download my ultimate and yes, essential macro photography toolkit to get your hands on my top macro photography creation resources to make your next images spectacular so you can create work faster without the guesswork. Check out the link down below in the description. Want to be part of our private Facebook group for adventurous macro photographers? This is where I jump on live on Tuesdays to answer your questions on macro photographing, lighting, post-processing, equipment, and selling your work. That link is also down below. Check the video down below. This is where I'm going to share with you my first video on photographing fruit, and it's a really cool setup. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. And always remember that your 1,000 words does make a difference. Cheers.